We're actually looking at a fire engine from 1934. This was here when this firehouse originally opened in 1951. This was what this firehouse was originally designed for, the size apparatus to accommodate. As you can tell, it's quite a bit smaller than the fire engine from 2012 that's behind it. Back then, firehouses were smaller. The needs of the community were very different than they are now. The amount of equipment we have to carry, the amount of hose, and the amount of training and emergencies we respond to now is significantly different than it was back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. The constraints of the firehouse limit us physically as an operational standpoint as well. Fire apparatus have gotten bigger for a number of reasons, both requirements of manufacturers and needs of our community, our district. We design our trucks specifically to meet the needs of us operationally, and we're limited to that because of the constraints of the firehouse.
That's why the Yorktown Heights Fire District is proposing to replace the existing Commerce Street Fire Station with a new one. That new firehouse would be 4,000 square feet larger and built for apparatus today and well into the future.
We are probably less than an inch, half an inch from the bumper to the wall, and less than a foot from the apparatus. The trucks themselves were limited to what we can design. They carry less equipment than we typically like them to have, just because the firehouse is so tight.
The current space is extremely tight and makes the job of a firefighter very difficult.
Here we can't store any equipment with this exhaust, right? The diesel, all the particulates in the air. We have to ventilate. With the older firehouse, we're very limited at how we could ventilate because of the height restriction.
Yorktown Heights Fire District is and always will be about helping the community, not only in emergencies, but in everyday life. Starting in high school with its Junior Corps program, inspiring young firefighters.
It's a busy fire station and there's a lot of things that go around. And from my firsthand experience, it is tight, it is difficult, especially if you're going on a call, a fire, perchance there's going to be a lot of volunteers coming to the station and getting dressed. There might be 5 or 6 of us getting dressed in this one lane and trying to get on a truck. Maybe 2 trucks are going out at the same time. So it can get very hectic and kind of crowded. And we just want to help the community. We're doing this out of the goodness of our heart and because we love to do it. And it's all volunteers, so we're not always here 24/7. So we come in and we just want to help you guys.
For more information, go to yhfdistrictny.org.
Good afternoon and welcome to Your Town, Yorktown. Today I'm being joined by Chief Paul Liberatore, Assistant Chief Matt Loria, and Commissioner Martin McGannon from Yorktown Heights Fire District and Fire Engine Company Number 1. We are looking at a bond resolution on the 30th, or a bond vote for the firehouse on a new fire station. And there have been a lot of questions out there, so I thought this might be a great opportunity to get some of those answered. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's happening here?
So basically, the current firehouse houses about 4 apparatus. The doors are very tight, allowing the modern apparatus, the rigs that are being purchased, the rigs in the future won't fit in the firehouse. It's an antiquated building, built in the 50s, so it's definitely outlived its life expectancy. And the idea is to basically, acquire the bond and, tear down the building and put up something more modern, something more technologically advanced that'll last us another 75 years plus. So we have something new in town, a newer beacon in town, as the firehouse is a beacon in the Yorktown downtown area.
So it's great to have a beacon, but what is the true need of this firehouse? Why are we looking at this in this bond resolution at this point?
Oh, me or Matt?
Matt?
Yeah, Matt.
You want to take it?
The need is simply that the fire apparatus today don't fit in the firehouse that currently sits on Commerce Street.
For those that are not associated with the fire department, what is your definition of apparatus?
Apparatus is the vehicles themselves that respond to the emergencies. So fire engines carry water and hose. They predominantly put water on the fire and extinguish it. We have a ladder truck, which obviously has a ladder on top, which is able us to reach victims or people at height. And we have specialized equipment, such as the tanker truck or specialized support vehicles that we utilize because certain parts of town aren't serviced by municipal water main system or specialized equipment. So that's where everything is housed. The apparatus themselves, if you can see in the picture on the screens to the left and right, back in the 1950s, that was actually all housed in that facility when that picture was taken, I believe, back in 1951 when the firehouse was first opened. And at that time, the town of Yorktown's population as a whole was under 5,000 people. Today, we're around 40,000, I believe, as a town-wide, and apparatus have significantly grown in size. Some of that is due to manufacturers. Certain things are just bigger than they were years prior. And a lot of it also is driven by needs of the community and our response districts. We have specific equipment, hose loads, water, and other variables that require the apparatus to become bigger. The firehouse itself hasn't grown to meet the needs of the apparatus that have grown to meet the needs of the community. We're kind of driven by a very hard number of height and width and depth that we can only go so far, which allows us that we can basically have to build the truck around the building. And as you move forward, it's just not suitable anymore. So it's easier and safer and better, more practical for the population and our district to put a new building to meet the needs of our district. So we can have the equipment that we need and the facility that we need all in one place.
So I have an idea on some of these answers, but these are some of the questions that have come back to us. So you spoke about the apparatus getting larger. I believe, though, that in reality, a truck that was, say, 30 feet in length back in the day is now like 40 feet, like another 33% longer because of different safety measures that are on the truck as well as the firefighting apparatus, correct?
Yeah, like if you look at the fire trucks in the picture there, there's no roofs on some of them. Seat belts weren't a requirement back then. Air packs. Air packs not a requirement back then. Right now, every person that sits in the fire truck has an air pack. Obviously, it's required. Seat belts, the size of the cabs have grown because now you have to put roofs on them. You have to put. There's no back door on one of those apparatus there because that wasn't a requirement. Now all these safety things come into play, and the size of the apparatus has grown. With the times. That's kind of what we're dealing with now.
Very good. All right. I forgot my other question, so we'll get back on that. Now, people have asked, why not just try to expand the building?
I will absolutely answer that. The Board of Fire Commissioners, along with the chiefs and other members of the department, have looked into numerous aspects of the redesigning, re-engineering this particular building. Spoke to quite a few different engineers, and it had come to the cost factor to upgrade this particular building would be astronomical. And it still wouldn't give us what we truly need, was apparatus space for the size of the trucks. From an engineering aspect, from an architectural aspect, it just didn't work. We've looked into numerous elevation changes to whether it's dropping the floor, raising the roof. The cost of that far outweighed the benefits, and it extremely higher than it would be to tear it down and replace it.
Gotcha.
And then if we did such modification of the building, we'd have to update it with ADA compliancy, life safety equipment, all that other stuff, which would just cost a lot more than it would show.
Right. So, how are you planning on doing this? Well, let me step back and sort of go into the explanation there. So, the fire district is its own taxing district.
Yep, the fire district is its own taxing entity, strictly similar to the school districts. At the present time, we are only 1.67% of your overall tax bill. We would go out to bond, put for up to $30 million, no more. and then that would levy. For the cost of a cup of coffee a day, of Starbucks coffee at $3.75, your week's cup of coffees would be pretty much covering your costs.
So you get the small cup of coffee if it's only $3.75.
Based on it, $3.75. 7 cups of coffee for a week. That's $26.25.
So it would be $26.25 a week for the taxpayers.
Well, no, it's actually less.
Less, okay.
The taxes would be $21.12 per month.
Per month, okay.
Based on a $10,500 assessed value.
Right. Which I think from what the services we get for that, just amazing. That's fantastic.
I pay more a year. I pay more per month for cable and streaming services than I do for fire protection for the year in fire tax. So that's what it kind of breaks down to when you really look at it.
That's a great point. Fantastic.
Like I said, a Starbucks cup of coffee one day a week times 4 weeks in a month, that's $105. Right off the bat. That's still less than the tax increase is less than what we're looking for.
Right.
What Starbucks is looking for.
And getting life-saving
You're getting a lot
services.
more than a sip of cup of coffee.
Absolutely.
Which we have coffee available if anyone wants to stop by for a free cup of coffee. We'll give them a free cup of coffee.
That's it. May not be Starbucks.
No, it's not Starbucks, but it's good.
There you go.
A cup of coffee.
So maybe we could delve into the plan a little bit.
Sure. So what we're looking to do is to replace this existing building that was, like the chief said, opened up in 1951 with those apparatus, some of those apparatuses that were there, or rigs, if you're not sure. And what we're looking to do is replace it with 4 bays, substantially deeper, and accommodate enough room for the firefighters, for the safety of the firefighters and the response. These particular doors on this building are 14 feet by 14 feet, allowing ample room in between the apparatus. A lot of your statistics have backing into a firehouse has caused more, into any firehouse, older firehouses, has caused injuries to firefighters, damage to apparatus, insurance costs, and stuff like that. So these particular, everything driven by the size of the apparatus. So, like I said, the 14-foot bay doors, and this is a artist rendition. With that, we put a second floor on it, and then that would hold a lot of the administration and company venues, that meetings and stuff like that. And then the third floor is strictly for teaching and for emergencies, storage, file storage. A fire chief fills out a report. That report has to stay here forever. There's no way of getting rid of them. We have to keep them. That's under law. And again, like the chief had mentioned, a lot of this is driven through the NFPA requirements, OSHA regulations, Department of what am I saying? The Department of Environmental, DEC, New York State DEC, EPA.
ADA, right?
The EPA drives the emissions on an engine, which creates it to get bigger. All this stuff we have to follow before we can even put that rig, or before the manufacturer could even put that rig on the road. So those drive the size of these trucks 2.5% to 3% larger.
So I know someone had, I remember the point I wanted to make before. I know someone had asked me, can't they park some of the apparatus outside? And
currently we do have smaller vehicles, somewhat winterized and drained, that we don't want to have outside. The longer they're outside, the longer the least time they last.
Right.
The
So-
elements of this, the northeast here will, damage a vehicle.
The sun will, the rain will,
Rain will,
salt
sun
will.
will, salt, snow,
Yep.
cold temperature changes. Any of the apparatus that carries any kind of water absolutely cannot stay outside. It will freeze up, and it will cost thousands of dollars to repair.
Well, that's a great segue to my other point. And once again, I know some of these answers, so but I think that it would be great for the public to know. Say we have to buy a new fire engine, say a tanker.
A tanker truck right to this day
Yep.
will run you anywhere from 1.2 to $2 million, depending on the
Size.
sizes.
And it's like
Or-
1,500 days for, right?
It's a little over 3 years.
A little over 3 years.
3 years to get it. If I ordered one today, we won't get one until, 2029.
Right.
Maybe 2010, if we're lucky.
2030, you mean? 29,
If we ordered one
Yes.
today,
yeah,
Yes, that's what I meant. Yeah.
2930, right. So, yeah, and that is expensive. Do you happen to know, just out of curiosity, back when the last tanker was bought, approximately how much that was?
I can give you one even closer. One of the most recent engines we purchased was approximately $780,000. That was in 2015. No, excuse me, 2019.
Okay.
2020, COVID struck, delays, supply chains, all the excuses in the world. The prices increased drastically. That same piece of equipment that we purchased in 2019 is now $1.2 million. So 700 and,
So it's almost doubled.
780 is now 1.2.
And that's nothing we can control. That's off the manufacturer and the.
Right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. All right. We'll let you get back to your.
So this is coming up Commerce Street. This is a rendition that we are looking to do. Again, it's a 3-story building, and this is coming the opposite direction from Commerce towards Hanover. Kind of give you an idea of the sizes. The 3rd floor is set back, so you actually really don't see it when you're coming up. There's a 10-foot elevation from Downing Drive to the front of the firehouse. And this is the back entrance. When we pushed it back, in the design of it, we pushed it back onto the property 10 feet from its existing footprint. Allowing the elevations, it gave us ability to put 3 additional bays. They're smaller, and they will hold smaller pieces of equipment in the back of the building and not impeding on the operations of what's up in front. This is what the architect calls it the public entrance. This is where the doors on my right, looking at the picture, would look is the entranceway, the elevators, which is allowing this building to have ADA compliant on all floors. And it would go on additional staircases that would go up to the 3rd floor as well.
Very nice.
In the floor print, floor prints, this is actually a sub-basement. Basically, it's if you could see it on the screen, I'm not sure, but the larger portions, I don't know if my mouse is showing up on your screen, these portions are unexcavated, and the rest is just storage, utilities, your boiler, your IT, your sewage injection pumps, and your electrical rooms, your sprinkler rooms, your elevator rooms. So it's all your utilities and stuff. The staircase on the side of the building will also go down to those floors. And as well as, now if you look at this area here where the mouse is going around, that's the floor of the lower bays from the back. So These are the three bays in the back, substantially smaller than what you have up here. And these are the 4 bays on the front Commerce Street facing side.
And we're building those bays deep and wide enough to project for any, size change in the apparatus and, doubling up the apparatus on the bay and stuff like that.
Back one. So that's the apparatus floor. The importance on this part is in the front corner here you have, on the Commerce Street side, you have the radio operations, radio room, surrounded by windows that overlooks the apparatus bays and overlooks the front apron for safety reasons, backing up, coming in off of Commerce Street. The general firefighters, this is the firefighters' entrance, basically, is you come in here into the staircase and into the apparatus bay. As the chief was alluding to, is the safety and modernization of a building. This is where the firefighters' gear would be kept. Their gear, and that's a pressurized room, allowing none of the any exhausts or anything to get into the gear. And they can speak more on this. He's very versed on it. Is the contaminants, the carcinogens that the gear, once they're cleaned, they get put in their lockers area, and then they can wear them again for the next call. But every call. Additionally, there's bathrooms. Both are all handicap accessible. And off the bathrooms is a decon room with a washing machine for the gear and stuff. And then back here is a service room for the air packs and cleaning of the air packs, maintenance of the air packs and stuff. Overall maintenance room for the apparatus and the equipment that's on the apparatus. The elevator will open up in 2 different directions, one out to the foyer and then one into the hallway to the apparatus bay. There's obviously staircases going all the way up, the general public, and each of the doors are sealed tight. So this room is, all these rooms on the outer edges are pressurized, keeping any of the carcinogens coming into that.
So
Keeps all in the bay, not the living spaces where, we're breathing. It doesn't create an IDLH.
Yep. So Matt, why don't you give us a brief rundown of why that has changed so much in today's world versus when we opened this in the 50s?
So the fire department itself has done a lot more since the 50s. Predominantly back then we did grass fires, brush fires, and houses back then contained more natural products. Today, everything is a composite. It's a plastic, it's a hydrocarbon, it's a hydroplastic, it's something mix of the two. When those burn, they give off highly carcinogenic byproducts. That becomes soiled a part of the firefighter's gear, which requires us to launder them a specific style and specific way, so it removes that contaminant. So it's a cancer prevention initiative. When firefighters, we currently have to store our gear, it's either in our vehicles, our personal vehicles, or it's at the firehouse. Because of how tight the confines of the firehouse are, firefighters have to physically store their gear between the apparatus themselves. And because of how tight that building is, we don't have diesel exhaust capture systems in that building. So after a fire, firefighters have to launder their gear, and it requires them to transport it to a different facility. We don't have a space for that type of equipment at our current firehouse in Commerce Street. We have to transport that equipment, launder it, and bring it back. They have to now store it and hang it in between the apparatus, which becomes a hazard of itself for somebody getting caught between moving apparatus, because you physically can't put 2 people next to each other in between the apparatus. So if one person's getting dressed, getting on a rig, somebody else actually has to wait or kind of squeeze by them to get to their locker, to get their equipment, to get on the same piece of apparatus, which may be moving. So, and as that vehicle moves, the exhaust kicks up, and it's now soiling their individual lockers and gear with just diesel exhaust. So it's kind of like keeping your home laundry basket next to your car exhaust in your garage. It's not a overly healthy practice. So by doing this, we can segregate the gear and the equipment into a pressurized room, keep it clean, and allow space for members to walk through or walk by and keep everything that we need to in the appropriate position. So it's kind of keeping a neat, tidy, and just a healthy environment for our firefighters and the public if they come and visit.
Right. Now, does Do the battery energy storage, the lithium-ion batteries, does this also add to that need for the decontamination?
It adds another layer of complexity to the hazards we face and the needs for contamination. So anytime we have equipment or personal protective equipment that responds to any type of incident involving those type of pieces of equipment, they have to be laundered or sent out to be laundered, depending on the level of that they're soiled.
Gotcha. All right.
Ed, just to touch a little back on the battery storage. The basement level, and this hasn't been determined where, like I said, is set up with a lot of storage area, needed storage area. With that in mind, we're looking also, when it comes down to when we're ready for the engineering phase of this project, hopefully the bond does go through, there will be an area there strictly for storing of those. We have lithium-ion batteries run our equipment. So those batteries would be stored in a specific type of environment for those. So that has yet to be determined where in that area, but it will be. That's one of those concerns that we have.
Thank you. Good. Glad to know we're on the same page.
Yeah. Again, this is the apparatus bay. When we moved it back, we were able to, we could have made all 4 bays deep, but we opted to get having the 3 bays in the back. So right here, there's in this area here, there's a mezzanine, which allows for additional storage space for the fire service operations, whatever the chiefs need. That's an area up in this area. The next slide will probably show you that little bit of an area that they have. So that would be in there. And it would be an enclosed area so that it's not contaminated, etc.
Sure. Pressurized too, or?
Everything, any room that's off the apparatus bay is going to be designed to be pressurized to keep any of the carcinogens out of them areas,
Good.
including the hallways and stairwells and stuff like that. We go up to the second floor. With any kind of organization, especially a fire, you need office space. When you go up to the office space, you go up to the second floor. There's the chief's office. You have the secretaries and the treasurer's office, whether it's the fire district or the engine, organization. Then you have the captains and lieutenants, and then you have a smaller boardroom here. This is a larger meeting room. We have right now on the rolls approximately 90, Chief.
Yeah, high 80s, 90.
On the rolls,
yeah.
Actively we have interior firefighters. I think it's 40. So, and they get together and they do meet once a month. Off that there is a kitchen, and then you get the hallway that goes in, providing if there's the meetings, there's ample bathroom with handicap accessibilities, both his and hers. And then as a fire district, we're required, not suggested, we're required to provide physical fitness for the firefighters. At the present time, we help with the cost of private gyms members may go to. This will allow us to put a gym, a workout area for physical fitness in this area. Next to Assistant Chief Laurie was saying the carcinogens is causing cancers and stuff. But the next to that, I don't know if there's been a change, upswing, but heart attacks used to be the highest of the cause of deaths of firefighters.
Yeah. And I would say, just from my managerial experience, that it's great for building a team as well.
Yes.
Having the guys working together, working out together, trusting each other, building that up. So that is phenomenal.
So there's the fitness room here, and right off the fitness room is a area where the firefighters can, when the fire's out, the gear's put away, they can go up, go over some stuff, sit back, relax, or even sit and wait for another call. That would be the second floor. Obviously, we have stairwells here. Again, all of these stairwells, both of one in the back and then one on the bike side trail side of the building, are all pressurized. Education and training is ongoing pretty much every day of the week for not only these guys, but also the other regular firefighter. The chiefs are always going to training classes and stuff like that. So here we have additional office spaces on the 3rd floor. And then you would come down, and then there's 2 multi-purpose rooms. Everybody said, what's a multi-purpose room for? Well, it could be for anything from a standby to additional storage space. We've had numerous times at at different events where civilians would come knocking on our residents, would come knocking on the door. They have no power, they have no generator, no nothing during different storms that we've had, where they actually use the firehouse.
Like a rehab
in
area.
Rehab areas, or even sometimes even slept there.
Right.
And that would be either in a radio room or in a existing radio room now, or wherever the officers at the time could squeeze them to let them settle down and get comfortable till the storm passed. So that's a multi-purpose room, could be utilized for anything. And
I also remember back during some of the national disasters that have happened, that people would bring things in, whether it was Hurricane Sandy, and people would bring stuff to the firehouse for distribution. 9/11.
Oh, absolutely. 9/11. Yeah, we've had an old barn that's in the back of the firehouse stocked with stuff for 9/11.
Right. So it would be great to have that overflow. I'm sure that would be something, if God forbid something else is out there that we need to support our neighbors with.
And just like anybody says, when you build something, you think you have enough storage, and then you run out, so you need to build more. So the idea behind this is we have a lot of different areas for storage, like we have required documentation we need to keep. But also with this whole project, we are removing, the idea is to remove that barn also, which we do use for storage, to store hose, training equipment, and other stuff.
Right.
We made the availability in this building to now get rid of that barn, to remove it, and then put that equipment and stuff in this building somewhere. So we are making that provision as
Right.
well, and planning for the future.
You know, you mentioned something that's been heavy on my heart this past week, and in my mind while we're talking, which, you know, we're talking about all the different carcinogens that are out there now, and I'm just, look, don't want you guys going out and risking like that, risking your lives, but realizing that we do recognize it now, because a lot of the guys who went down to the pile in 9/11, they were told, no, there's nothing to worry about. And there was plenty to worry about, and we're still experiencing the losses from that. You know, Jackie being the most recent out of your firehouse, and it's you know, for those that, when we start talking about the bond issue and that, you know, that $21 a month, realizing what our volunteers, not even paid guys, are out there facing and risking. I think it makes this bond issue a no-brainer to say, hey, we need to make it happen.
And to your point, even the chief, as all other commissioner and chief can also allude to it as well, there's another room up on this 3rd floor. It's a training area designated for classrooms that the chief's cursor is right over. We currently have to utilize in the old firehouse we have now that multi-purpose community room. It is a community room, a place where members stay for standbys or storms, a training room, it's a birthday party room, it's kind of everything room. So we now have with this facility, have a dedicated space specifically for trainings where we can host our own classes, bring outside agencies in or outside instructors in to further our members' education. Because back in 1950, the needs of the town were very different. It was a small community, and firefighting, just like everything else, was pretty basic. There wasn't a lot of training. Today, we're responding to over several hundred calls a year, running the whole gamut of emergencies you can think of in a town this size. So training now becomes imperative for us to continue to maintain our high level of standards and to grow as an agency to serve the town.
And I think it's probably important to recognize that it's not only within this town.
No. These are requirements nationally and locally and the state level that are just constantly going up.
Right. But there's also mutual aid as well. So, our firefighters may need to respond to a fire in, say, Mount Kisco, but because it's a big fire. But we also know that if we need to lean on Mount Kisco for a big fire here, God forbid again, that they will be here in the mutual aid and be there to help.
And that'll bring, so to finish up with the third floor, as the Assistant Chief was saying, this is a classroom area. So it's not the whole footprint of the building. We kept it small, the needs of we want. You talked about mutual aid. We've had numerous times we've had fires and different calls where mutual aid, and the chiefs can add more to it, where mutual aid departments have come to us, and as in the wintertime, they can't fit their trucks in our firehouse. So in the winter, they have to sit outside running, utilizing fuel, utilizing everything, just to keep them from freezing. So it's important. So if we have assistants coming to us, they have a place they can actually put their trucks while we're out at a fire assisting a residence in this town. So,
Right. There's a lot to unpack, huh?
Yep. Like the chief was saying, we have to meet. We when we went through this 10 years. This is a 10-year process. We've been working on this. It started well before COVID, and with the input of all the firefighters and different officers through those 10 years, right? We accumulated all this information and put it towards what we feel will best suit our needs from now and well into the future, providing the health and safety of our firefighters, our volunteer firefighters, and also the health and safety of our community. Talking to them, and not only talking to the chiefs and stuff, we also talk to different fire departments out there. And as the chief alluded to, you build today, you may not have enough space tomorrow. That's how fast things, and I spoke to one company that built a tremendous fire station, not too far from here, and they don't have the room. So we absolutely looked into the future, what we feel we need.
Yep. Almost sounds like buying an iPhone. Next year there's going to be something bigger and better out.
Apparatus has changed, especially the size of them has changed so much since I first got into the fire service that it's just crazy.
Yeah, someone just did a whole presentation on it in the county. I forget who it was, but no, without a doubt, it is getting crazy. It is.
These guys don't like to hear this, but when I first joined here, we were allowed to ride the back step. That ended real quick.
Yep.
Someone got hurt. Things happen. Things get changed.
Sure.
Bad stuff happens. Things get changed. Then they had just the jump seats, where what the chief was alluding to before was open cabs. Open cab is a jump seat, and they put a bar there to prevent you from falling out. Now NFPA said no more of that. They enclose the cabs, which makes it even bigger, approximately 20 inches bigger.
Right.
The exhaust systems for the carcinogens and stuff.
Filters and
Filters.
everything else.
The new filter systems for the new ones that are coming out in 2027. A fire engine will no longer, average fire engine right now on the road is approximately 86 inches wide. The newer ones are going to come up to a minimum of 99 inches wide.
Wow.
Because the filter system is doubled, which increases the width of the truck, and it'll also increase the length.
Is that going to affect actually firefighting, especially on a narrow road and trying to get in and out?
Stuff we're going to be looking into, and as it's developed, I mean, right now, 2027, those trucks will be coming out a lot larger, and that's the smallest they can get it. Some of the trucks are coming out 100 inches.
And when we look at apparatus, we also look at our response area. And try to, purchase the best apparatus for our first due area. We can buy bigger apparatus, but we've chosen not to because of the size of some of the roads and the driveways and stuff. So we do take all the town response in consideration when we do that stuff.
Right, because what is a normal lane or road? Is it 118 or 100?
It varies because, we go right over here, California Road. That's one of the most extremely widest roads, residential road
Right.
in the area. So you go
But a
down
standard, like on 202, say. Isn't
and
it
that's
9
even a
feet?
wider road. They're
Well,
a little
yeah,
over.
sure.
They're a little over 8 feet.
8 feet.
I'd have to talk to our highway superintendent.
But that's not a double yellow. Then you go on streets that are not double yellow,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like a Hunter Brook or a,
Yeah.
stuff
Right.
like that. It's tight and windy.
sure.
Well, it depends on how the town developed. You had the bungalow communities on the lakes, and then you had roads that were literally dirt that were just paved over. So it's older town like Yorktown.
I think California
Very-
Road's
Right.
wider than Granite Springs.
Well, there you go.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
And trust me, I know that dealing with the issues of having a bungalow community start becoming a thriving town and business community and a great place to live. It's with all of those changes and additions, it does not make it easy. I was just in a meeting on county planning today, and we were talking really about the thought process or lack of thought process that went into Route 6 and 202, and where they narrowed down. And really, there was a process that they spoke about, but people fought it, not thinking into the future. So,
And that's what we're doing here. We're thinking about the future.
yep. No,
Future of the town, future of the fire service.
without
That's
a
kind of what
doubt.
we're going for.
It hasn't, and I was born and raised here, and it hasn't gotten smaller. I could tell you that.
No. And my wife was born and raised here as well, and the same thing.
Square footage is the same. Square miles is the same.
Right.
Population has
Population.
absolutely increased.
Sure. Which it has to. It's just, it's a world.
Whether it's living in town or coming through town just to get it somewhere else, it has increased drastically.
Yep. Well, that's one of our biggest problems. I don't think our development per se brings as much traffic as some of the outside development. Especially the Route 6 corridor, the 202 corridor. A lot of people heading to Peekskill, a lot of people heading to Cortland, a lot of people heading to Mayapack.
And we cover that too. We
Yeah.
cover all of the Taconic State Parkway, the whole Yorktown stretch pretty much
Sure.
up until 202 to the 134.
Mhm.
The traffic that's coming east and west and to get to the Taconic is far greater than.
So, were there any more slides, or was that your?
I have this is the last of the footprint of the building.
Uh-huh.
The next slide I bring in because it just explains what our tax base is, and this was compliments of the Yorktown Central School Districts. So, if you look over here in this tiny little corner piece of the pie here, that is 1.67. I said 1.7, round up, and of the fire district's taxing. The majority of the tax is the school district.
Yeah, and that's something that some people don't realize is that your taxes as a pot go to different things. It's
Yep.
not just a town tax. It's not just a county tax. It's not just a firehouse tax, but or sewer tax. But we have the schools in there, and we're one of the few counties, if not the only county in New York, where the town actually collects the school taxes. A lot of the counties, like upstate, you pay the schools direct. And people realize, this is what I'm giving to the schools, and this is what I'm giving to the town, and it's important that we have our great school system. But I don't think a lot of people are aware of what those other services are and what they bring and how much they cost.
Yep. And our entire budget is the 1.6, 1.7, what do you want to call it? We have no revenue. So everything we base our operations, our purchases, everything is off of
You're gonna
that.
have a nice party room.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which we rent out, but that's actually the company rents it out.
Yeah.
We do apply for a lot of grants. We get a lot of stuff on grants, whether it's federal, state, or local grants, but our budget goes off of that percentage that we collect.
And it's even furthermore, it's also that which service you're getting. The town of Yorktown, most people don't realize, is broken up into 2 separate fire districts,
That is correct.
just like 2 separate school districts. So we get a lot of questions from people that live in Jefferson Village. Is it like, oh, there's a firehouse right on the corner? It's actually a different fire district, like Mohegan Fire District. So most people, it's a look at your taxes, look at the town assessor's office, and see whose district actually services you. Where do your taxes actually go? As a lot of people have migrated north towards Yorktown, they're just familiar with whatever the municipality was they lived in prior. They don't realize that you're 2 different fire districts, school districts, and so on, and you're taxed differently based on the area you live in.
Right.
So,
And I don't think they also realize Mohegan is split. Also, they cover Mohegan Lake, and that goes into Cortland, and they cover a lot of Cortland as well, and people don't really recognize that, but they on that side of town and I don't know if it's just the mixture of where people live there, but their volunteer force has dropped considerably, and they've had to add full-time firefighters, paid firefighters onto their schedule to staff the firehouses. So it's definitely a lot, once again, to unpack on that as well.
I'm trying to pull up the map, the actual district map for you.
and some of that's also driven by just the post office.
Right.
Some people don't realize it, but especially southern part of Yorktown, they may have an Ossining zip code, but they go to a Ossining school district or Yorktown school district, but they get Yorktown services.
Right.
People don't correlate necessarily.
Cortland goes to Panis, which is Lakeland School District. Of course, there are equalization rates that are paid there to make sure that the Yorktown people aren't paying for the Cortland people and vice versa.
And just how the lines kind of go, they're a little funky, just the way they were drawn, many years ago, that whose district is whose, and that's where your money goes to, and based on the services you're receiving.
Yep. And we have that issue with our water department, some with the sewers, so, yeah.
This particular PDF file can't get in. So if you look at this the town map, in the upper northwestern corner is Mohegan Fire District, and the remainder is the Yorktown Fire District.
Cover a roughly 36.2 square mile area, which is one of the largest in the county, geographically.
Yep. So I think we need to get to the heart of all of this right now. We have the up to $30 million bond. You are looking for grants for this, correct?
We are.
Yep.
We always are looking for grants.
And has G&G, our grant writer, been helping out with that as well?
He is one of the ones we use. We also have an in-house person that does a lot of grants. Matt's actually picked us up a couple grants for even apparatus and equipment and stuff. So we're always looking for ways to offset any monies and stuff.
Well, that's what we do as well. Smart governing and trying to utilize the resources that are available are very important. When is the big vote?
The vote for the bond is on September 30th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the 1916 Commerce Street Firehouse, this particular one here.
And it is only for the people that are...
It is for the registered voters of the Yorktown Heights Fire District.
Okay. And you can find that out on your tax bill.
Yep.
And if you don't have your tax bill, because it goes to your mortgage company, you could call the assessor's office and or the tax collector.
Yep. Yes, you can.
So, anything else, gentlemen, that you want to stress out there right now?
If anybody has any questions, there is a website. If you go to yorktownfire.org or Yorktown YHF District, if you go to yorktownfire.org, there's a picture of this
The firehouse
firehouse right
should
there.
be
You
on there.
click on that, it'll bring you right to the whole explanation what we went through, and it'll also give you a area where you can request information.
Can you do me a favor? You have Robin's email address?
I do.
Planning? Why don't you ask her, send it to her and ask her to put that on our website as well?
Sure. The vote information is also on the town calendar.
Good. We should do like something that's very visual, whether it's a banner, a picture on the home page.
So if you go to, close this out. Right here. That's the website. And if a person just, all they have to do is click on that, and it brings you right to.
Brings you to a dedicated page of the district.
Dedication.
It's a lot of frequently asked questions on there, information about the public hearing we had, and all the, everything's very out there and transparent. Somebody needs information, most of it's up there.
Fantastic. Can you go back a page
Sure.
to the QR code? So if you are watching at home, there's a QR code there, and you can scan that QR code from the TV and be able to get to the website directly. So you just turn on your camera, point it at it, the little yellow box will probably come up saying the website, and you just click on it, it'll take you right in.
Yep.
So some great information, gentlemen. I want to thank you for being here and not only educating us to all of this and letting us know what the needs of the firehouse are, why, and how this is going to improve the services that you offer, while most importantly keeping our volunteers safe. But also for what you do every day, what you guys are committed to, and the safety and well-being of Yorktown. It is, it's what makes Yorktown so great. The volunteerism in our community is second to none, and I really thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed, for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
No, thank you, Martin.
Thank you.
I'll reach over. Yep. All right, so I think that covers about everything. So I'd like to say thank you for tuning in and watching Yorktown, and we'll see you soon with another show. Thank you.